Good morning, grade 7s. Today we are going through lesson 6, part 2, and we will be focusing on equivalent forms. This is page 94 in your textbook. So this section is a lot of revision from what we've already done. It's basically converting common fractions to decimals and the other way around, except now in this section our denominators are not always 10, 100 and 1000. So it says here, we have previously learned how to convert from a common fraction to a decimal fraction, as well as the other way around. Now the first part we're going to look at is converting from a common fraction to a decimal fraction. So step 1, make sure your denominator is 10, 100 or 1000. If it is not, you need to make it 10, 100 or 1000. Okay, we'll get there just now. Number 2, count how many zeros are in the denominator. That's how many numbers must be after the comma. Step 3, if there is a whole number, it will come before the comma. Number 4, whatever your numerator is, that will be the fractional part of your decimal. Okay, right, so the first one. Okay, I'm going to do it with you on this piece of paper. So example 1 says convert the following to a decimal fraction. So with A, we've got 40 over 100. Now we've done examples like this last week. So this, our denominator is already 100, so I don't need to change anything. Step 2 says we count how many zeros are in the denominator. There's 2 zeros, meaning we need 2 numbers after the comma. Do I have a whole number? No, I don't. So my whole number is 0, comma. Because I need 2 numbers after the comma, I'm going to write 0, 40, and that's my decimal fraction. This is what we did last week. Now this week it becomes slightly more difficult, but still not too bad. Our common fraction that they've given us is 4 over 5. So step 1 said make sure your denominator is 10, 100 or 1000. Now here we see we've got a 5. So before we can do anything, we need to change that denominator to 10, 100 or 1000. So we need to get 5 to one of those numbers. Now the easiest thing, just get it to 10. So what do I do to 5 to get to 10? You multiply by 2. Our fraction rule says what we do on the bottom, we do on the top. So 4 times 2 is 8, 5 times 2 is 10. So my new fraction is 8 over 10. Now our denominator is 10, so step 1 is finished. Step 2, count how many zeros are in your denominator. We've got 1 0, so how many numbers are after the comma? Only 1. Do I have a whole number? No, I don't, so it's 0, something. My numerator becomes the fractional part. So my numerator is 8, so my decimal is 0, 8. Okay, and the last one is 17 over 25. Now again, my denominator is not 10, 100 or 1000, so we need to make it one of those numbers. Now I'm working with 25. I can't really get 25 to 10, but I can get 25 to 100, and I do that by multiplying by 4. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 25 times 4, my denominator is then 100. My numerator 17 times 4 is equal to 68. So my new fraction that I'm working with is 68 over 100. Okay, now I can go on. Step 2, count how many zeros. So I've got 2 zeros, meaning I'm going to have 2 numbers after the comma. I've got no whole number, so again my whole number is 0. And the 2 numbers that must be in my fractional part are my numbers in the numerator. So it's 0, 68. So with these ones, make sure your denominator is 10, 100 or 1,000. If it's not, just check what can I multiply with it to get to one of those numbers. Right, now the second part is converting from a decimal to a common fraction. So now we're doing it backwards. So step 1, count how many numbers are after the comma. One number means your denominator will be 10. Two numbers mean your denominator will be 100. Three numbers mean your denominator will be 1,000. Step 2, number before the comma becomes your whole number. So if there is any number before the comma, you need to know that that's your whole number. So we will have a mixed fraction or mixed number. Step 3, write the numbers after the comma as your numerator, and then you need to simplify. So if we look at the first one, I've got 0,75. Right, first thing, do I have a whole number? My whole number is 0, so I'm not going to be working with a mixed number. I've got two numbers after the comma, which means my denominator will be 100, because two numbers after the comma means 2 zeros in my denominator. And my numerator is 75. Whatever's after the comma, that becomes your numerator. Now step 4 says simplify, so we need to find a number that can go into 75 and 100. So let's say 5. So I'm going to divide by 5, top and bottom. Okay, so 75 divided by 5 is 15. 100 divided by 5 is 20. Is it simplified as much as I can? No, it's not. 5 can go into it again. Okay, so 5 goes into 15 3 times and into 20 4 times. So 3 over 4 is my simplified answer. I could have gone straight from here to here by dividing by 25 if you want to skip this middle step. Okay, and the next one, we've got 1,001. Do I have a whole number? Yes, I do. My whole number is 1, so I write it over there. I've got 3 numbers after the comma, which means I must have 3 zeros in my denominator. So my denominator is 1,000. Right, then whatever is after the comma, that becomes my numerator. Now I don't need to include this 001 because 001 is the same as just writing 1. So 1 and 1 over 1,000, there's nothing I can do to simplify that, so that is my final answer. Okay, so you just need to remember, most important when converting, your denominator has to be 10, 100 or 1,000. Okay, that's the end of part 2. In the next lesson, we will carry on with decimals.